Academica Media. You are listening to Charter School Superstars, bringing you the voices of an education revolution.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Ryan Kairalla. Joining us on the program this week are Dr. Bridget Jones, the Director of Customer Success at Scribbles Software, and Kelly Bailey, the Enrollment Coordinator at Greer Middle College Charter High School. Our guests speak frequently on the subjects of budget planning in K-12, as well as the handling of records, admissions, and registrations. You can find out more about our guests' work by visiting scribsoft.com and greermiddlecollege.org. Bridget, Kelly, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Ryan.
Hi, thank you. Yes, thank you so much.
Thrilled to have you both here. This is going to be a blast. First, let's chat with you, Dr. Jones. Can you tell the folks a little bit about what Scribbles Software does?
So Scribbles Software, we work with school districts, K-12, and we help them streamline their manual application process or just any kind of, enrollment choice, any kind of application process to allow for more student opportunities within their own district. So that's in a nutshell what we do.
And we very much love the vendors that are out there in the world helping charter schools move things forward and accomplish their goals. Where would we be without organizations like yours? Nothing but love for the support organizations out there. I'm sure our other guest, Kelly Bailey, would agree with that. Kelly, can you tell us a bit about your work as an enrollment coordinator at Greer Middle College Charter School, and tell us a bit about what makes your school so special? I feel like that name alone's got something special going on there. I got the word college in it, but it's also a charter school. What's going on?
Absolutely. And not to be confused with a middle school, because we have middle in there too. So Greer Middle College Charter High School, home of the Blazers, get fired up. We are a public charter high school in Taylor, South Carolina. We were founded in 2007 with our first class in 2008. So we're actually celebrating 15 years of education at GMC, and it has been a fun ride. I have been here for a little over 12 years. So I've gotten to see a part of every graduating class that we've had and really the progression of our school. So we started in 29 portables. We lovingly called it the trailer park. And now we are in a beautiful building that we all had a hand in raising with fundraising and all those things. So we are 9 through 12 and starting our sophomore year, or our students starting sophomore year, they have the opportunity to take college classes. We are located on the Greenville Tech Benson campus. So they get to walk through our parking lot and head down to the college and have a real college experience at Greenville Tech. We have several students who are graduating with anywhere from 30 to close to 60 college credits as a high school student. Last year, we had 12 students get associate's degrees, which is just incredible. So they got that while they were also a high school student doing all the normal high school things. And that in itself just blows my mind. We're small, and we are at a max of 512 right now. Next year, we're looking at maybe increasing to 540, but our charter won't allow us to go much more than that. So we're really big on small class sizes, giving that family knit, close knit feel, and focusing on project-based learning, because not everyone can do tests. That's me, not me. I cannot do tests. And so we give the students an opportunity to expand a little bit more instead of just ABC on a test. It's let's see how this project can come into real life scenarios and situations. So it's a really cool opportunity for our kiddos.
Now, Kelly, I feel like you researched me before this show, and you're like, what are the buzzwords? What are the things I can say that I know will make this host smile? Because you hit me with the project-based learning, and that always puts a smile on my face. And charter schools co-located on college campuses, mwah! I love it. The dual enrollment opportunities it provides, the student teaching opportunities it provides, it's fantastic. You've given me a lot to like here. I'm glad. I'm glad I'm speaking with a charter school veteran here who works in the, records, admissions, enrollments, because you know firsthand how much of an ordeal this can be, especially if you don't have a good handle on it and you don't have the experience required. Can you talk a little bit about the unique challenges that a school like yours can have when it comes to handling records?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So I am now going into the third year of this role. So being at GMC, I've kind of worn a couple different hats. So I've seen it from the teacher standpoint, in which I'm still teaching too. So again, all the hats. But on a teacher side of it, having to physically collect documentation from students can be daunting, to say the least. And so having more online platforms that can get the information like Scribbles more easily, more connected has been a game changer for us. Because we are a lottery school, a lot of what we do has to be out in the community, word of mouth, and making sure that our community knows who Greer Middle College Charter High School Home of the Blazers is, and that they want to come here. And so from the record standpoint of enrollment, Scribbles has made it really easy for us to connect those missing links, that for a long time we were doing paper versions, or we were doing Google Forms that just were a little bit more, again, daunting to have to handle. And then
the Google Forms.
Gotta love it. And they serve some great purposes. They really do. But for example, for our lottery, some of the changes that we've seen and now moving to the Scribbles platform has been, we did a Google form for enrollment. And then when we had the lottery, we did a automated thing on a computer. It did a list of numbers, and then we posted those numbers outside of our school, like cheerleading tryouts used to back in the day. And there was a line.
Play.
Yes. There was a line outside, my number is my number on the door. Where's my number? And so now to have a system to be able to do it all online and they can check anytime has been a game changer. But additionally, we've been able to use online platforms for, or Scribble specifically, for our transcripts. So students who have graduated from GMC that are now coming back and either going to a different school or transferring, or maybe they need it for an employer, they're able to go through the system, and it talks to our systems to figure out the best way to send all of that paperwork. So it's really taking physical papers out of play, which saves all the trees that I am thankful for.
Well, this seems like a valuable opportunity to bring Bridget into the conversation here, in light of everything that Kelley's mentioned about the role that technology can play in making enrollment and handling of records easier. Can you talk a little bit more, Bridget, about the role that technology can play for schools like Kelley's?
Absolutely. So we love to hear the stories like Kelley, the stories that Kelley shares whenever we work with school districts. And I think that is what gives us the energy, and we want to empower those schools to, I've been in education my entire life, and what educators do really well is educating students. And if we can provide a service so that they can focus on what they're really good at, then we can take that piece. And that's what I feel like Scribbles has done, and technology has really done, is technology in this sense of the application. It's allowed our partners to be able to focus on what's most important. And so, the Google Docs, the lottery piece, all of that stuff is needed, it's necessary, and it needs to be done with validity and transparency. And I think especially with charter schools, that's even more important. And I feel like that's where we've really been able to shine and help in that area, so that Kelley and her team can continue to do their good work. So we like to take the burden of that and be, a piece of the puzzle in the success of schools. But the shining stars are definitely the schools.
I love it when vendors phrase it just like you did, Bridget, which is the idea of, we want to empower educators to do what they do best, free up more time and resources to let them educate and handle and take some of this stuff off their plate using the power of technology and dedicated education professionals like yourself, Bridget. That's fantastic. I know the two of you have also spoken a lot in the past about effective budget planning in the K-12 space. And I think right up there with handling of records, budgeting is also a huge pain point for a lot of education leaders. I'm curious, Kelley, Is this something that you still work in regularly in your role as an enrollment coordinator? Do you have a lot of background in budget planning at your school?
So I have budget background in a couple different areas. I served as our athletic director for a couple of years, so that was a large budget that I had to do. I'm also our student government advisor, so budgeting all of our student events. So with enrollment specifically, I haven't had as much of a hand in the budget as much as the advocacy of having a software system as part of our budget. My principal is wonderful. He's our principal executive director. He is a money man through and through. He knows our budget, I think, down to the penny, which as he should, right?
Yeah.
But with that comes a little bit of, dare I say, stinginess, that he wants to make sure that we're putting our money where our mouth is, but also what is best for our school. And so with enrollment specifically, and our development overall, what you put into it is what you get out of it. Right. So if I am putting a couple $1,000s into a system that makes us look good, that makes us look professional, I am going to push for that as much as I can and fundraise for that if I have to, because that's what Scribbles specifically has done for us. It is taking us from a Google form with the printed out version to where parents in our community can go onto a platform, they can enter their information in quickly and efficiently, and then also go back to it as often as they want to have a status update. And in that regard, I will fight for the budget for having that part in there. And because of, like Bridget was saying, it is freeing me up to also still be a teacher, to be an advisor, to do the enrollment, to be able to develop what we're doing out in the community as well. And so I've also snuck in some development funding here and there, as far as like, hey, there's this really cool billboard that I need to do, and this is how much it's going to cost. And then I weaseled my way into letting this discount. So here we go, board, and here we go, principal, you're going to need to pay for this. So while I don't pay the bills and I don't give specific numbers to our budget, I do fight for the things that I feel like are necessary in our budget.
You bring up an interesting point there about the role that technology can play in budgeting. I think when I've spoken to other K-12 administrators, they often talk to me about this idea of the shiny new thing syndrome that happens in K-12, right? Where you see some piece of technology that on the surface looks like it could be cool and flashy and exciting, and it usually has a significant price tag to it. And, you know, if you move forward and buy it, it can bust your budget. And it turns out, because a lot of stuff in ed tech suffers from product market fit problems, it doesn't actually deliver for the school as much as it should. So let me ask you, Bridget, as somebody in the ed tech space who wants to provide a lot of bang for your technology buck for schools, do you have any advice for school leaders on helping them find the right technology solutions that are worth the dollar expense provided and not just be a shiny new thing?
Yeah. Well, I may be old school, but I think good teaching is, good teaching, right? Being present, problem-based learning, anything that like project-based learning, what you're doing at Greer, those are the memories, and those are the things that really stay with kids, hands-on tactical solving real world problems. I don't know that I have curriculum technology expertise, but I can tell you about Scribbles bang for your buck. And
Sure.
I will share that we do have a product. Kelley alluded to it. It's a product where students can come, or alumni, corporate, people who are verifying employment can come in and request records, and all of that generates funds for the district. So it's a self-generating funding model, which is highly successful. It is what the company was kind of founded and grounded on, and that can roll into paying for things like Kelley was talking about, the enrollment piece. And so again, it kind of cycles through, and the model that the founders used in this company was to generate funds for schools, because there isn't large budgets. and you have to do, like Kelly said, be very fiscally responsible with the funding you do have. So if you can find a product that's generating, funding, then enroll that into other software that's going to solve problems for your district. Then you can put your real dollars towards something shiny-ish.
Yeah. And it's definitely, while it may not be millions of dollars or even thousands of dollars, every penny counts, especially in the charter world. And so when we are able to have some of those funds come in to be able to pay for the small things like, extra card stock for the workroom, or, an additional printing fee for something for graduation, like those things, it just really truly adds up. And it's a nice part of that for sure.
Technology that pays for itself is always the music to the ears of any administrator. Our guests have been Dr. Bridget Jones, the Director of Customer Success at Scribbles Software, and Kelley Bailey, the Enrollment Coordinator at Greer Middle College, Charter High School. This has been a treat of a conversation. Before we let you go, though, love to get each of you to answer our final question for us, and we'll start with Bridget. If with a snap of your fingers, you could make any change to the education system, what change would it be?
It would be strengthening the partnership between families and schools.
Great answer.
Yeah,
I love it.
it
All
is.
right. Kelly, bring us home. What would be your answer to that question?
Yeah, we are very fortunate to have a strong parent and community base here at GMC. So to piggyback off of that a little bit, we have their support, but I think the patience and understanding from parents and the community in general that we are tired teachers that are just trying to make a change in our students' lives, and to have that constant support and patience. And I ain't gonna lie, a couple extra dollars would go a long way in my paycheck. But just to have an understanding that we are doing the best that we can for your child, and I assure you we are doing everything that we can for them. I think that understanding and that patience goes a long way.
No doubt about it. Thank you both so much for your time this week. I've learned a lot, and I've really enjoyed chatting with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And thank you all for checking out Charter School Superstars.
The views expressed on the preceding program have been those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Academica, its clients, staff, affiliates, or advertisers.